how do we get the most out of Wylopo, out of the leads, out of everything that we are generating, all the activity, all the opportunity, but really looking at it through the lens and understanding that for the most part, you're solo now. And I don't know if we'll be able to do a poll or not here. There's my partner in crime, Barrett Jenkins. Welcome, my friend.
Hey, buddy.
But right, some of you may have assistants, maybe a TC, I think there's a different definition to a single agent or solo agent. We're going to just try and address just a little bit of each of those perspectives. And we came into this like, you know what, we're not putting together a slide deck. This is not really a presentation pitch. My thoughts, and correct me or add where you like, Barry, is I just want to go in and try to help you understand best practices and things maybe you've thought of or haven't thought of to maximize your time because you're wearing so many hats right now.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the principles about leverage, most of the agents understand. It's now executing on those concepts in a way that doesn't, harm their business. A common example that I find is where an agent has a transaction manager. And they're trying to leverage that transaction manager, but everybody's still coming to the agent, the other side. Nobody's talking to the TC. They're all talking. And so what I've, you don't want to be a jerk. So what I've had to teach the agents to do is to say, oh, my TC has all that info. I'm going to, just as a courtesy, connect you with her via email in a moment, so she'll answer that question. Then they'll call back again, the agent, a couple of days later and say, hey, I need info on, you say the same thing, they won't call you anymore.
Yep, I love it.
So these little practical tweaks,
I love it. So, hey, a couple housekeeping items real quick as people roll in. So, hey, we want to make this interactive as well. We're going to go through some best practices and talk about what we're thinking. At the bottom, guys, there is a button that says raise hand. If you have questions as we're going through, or maybe something that didn't come up, you'd love us to answer, give you our opinion, just hit that raise hand button. That's the easiest way for us to see that something's going on, or you can use the Q&A section to make sure we don't miss anything. But right off the bat, I do want to ask a question, so you can type this in the chat section if you just want to answer right now. I am curious, as we brought up TCs, and this is primarily single agents, how many of you are using a TC religiously, hopefully on the most part, every transaction to at least, get you on more dollar productive activity. So just jump into the chat, just say I am, or yes, whatever it is. We'll love to know how many people we've got actually leveraging a TC right now in the system. So, and chat is disabled, it looks like. All right, so Michelle, I think, is on standby. If there's a way to throw in there or to enable chat. There we go. Chat's working. Thanks, guys. All right. So use a TC, use TCs. We got a handful. We're going to go through. I love the script that Barry just gave you guys. Also going to jump into live into follow-up boss. Any of you know, both of us, Soapbox, smart lists, more so than anyone. They're important for everyone, but more so than anyone, you guys have got to be leveraging smart lists to help siphon through some of the information and make sure you are not missing any low-hanging fruit. So we've got a handful of people, yes, from day one, no brainer. So we got a lot of people using TCs. That's going to help leverage it. And we'll go through there. I'll show a couple little lists that we've created as well with TCs. I also am hoping within the hour that I'm going to show you guys a couple tools that we're starting to use in the market that we're seeing and how it's changing and adapting a little bit in Boise and Denver to help us have more readily available information at our fingertips for our buyers and sellers. That way you're not having to go hunt for items. So anything I missed out there, Barry, before we jump in?
Gabe, Michael Rennick wants us to fight. He's saying, whose smart list is better, Gabe's or Barry's?
Did he type that in there? No, he didn't. You smart ass.
No, he really did.
Did he really? All right, Rennick, why isn't Rennick should be on here as well? I mean, he's been growing his team as well. And again, if you have something to add, man, raise your hand in there. We'd love to hear from some of you. If you've brought in something that you're using as a solo agent that's working well, then share that, right? It's all about sharing the knowledge and leverage that we've got as a community to get better. So it looks like most people are using TCs. I know one person said I'm 100% solo. I don't know about your thoughts, Barry. To me, that's the easiest way to start leveraging your time is getting the shuffling of paperwork off your desk.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a very task oriented job. So you're not asking them to be creative. You're just asking them to follow a list. And
Yep.
I would go through a transaction manager every like 9 months or so. But I got one from the Philippines 5 years ago, and she still works for me, and she's amazing. And so for you guys, when you're looking at leveraging out, I have I call it a calculator, but it's not really, it's more of a formula. But if you just take the number of work hours in a week, 40 hours, right? 52 weeks in a year, whatever that math works out to, and the number of hours, and you take what you want to make for, your salary. Well, when you divide the hours that you work by the amount of money you want to make, you have an hourly rate. And I'm making the numbers up. I'm just doing this as a proof of concept for time. But if you want to make like $80,000 a year, I think it's around $100 an hour. Okay, ballpark. And I'm probably off there a little bit, but conceptually, $100 an hour is going to get you $80,000 a year. So then I don't know about you guys, because some of you are in California and jobs are more expensive, but $100 an hour is really good money. Okay. Like, not saying we're overpaid. What I'm saying is when you can hire a TC for 17 or 18, or if in another country for 5, and not do $25 an hour work, right? Your salary is going to go up. If you don't do that, you're going to have to average out your $25 an hour hours. This is how much time I spend doing TC. This is how much time I'm making 100. And now your hourly rate drops. So did your yearly income.
Can I do a quick, so again, we did not script this. Y'all know, like, we literally want to make this organic, and we're just going to talk until you guys ask questions. But I love that we started talking about what our time is worth, right? Dollar productive activity. So I'm going to do a quick little exercise. So if you're paying attention, if you're not paying attention and multitasking, give me your attention for like 4 or 5 minutes, because you're going to have to jump in text or in the chat and type in an answer. All right. So I want to do a quick little exercise, because this goes into being, can you see this spreadsheet?
Yes.
All right, and I can't see chat because I'm sharing my screen now, so help me out, Barry. But I want to do something. I want to do an exercise. We're going to do averages for the group. So I want you guys just to think. We're going to break down basically a closing into different sections. So if you guys were doing nothing else, and again, type in an hours into chat for me. If you did nothing else but jump into your Follow Boss, your database, your CRM, and prospect, look for those priority alerts, respond to Raya, do whatever it is to set an appointment to get a new buyer out there. Just did nothing other than prospect right now, respond to inbound activity. How many hours to pick up a new opportunity? So throw it into chat if you would, and just give me an idea what you guys think. If you did nothing else, we're not talking about anything else other than just prospecting your database. How many hours for you to pick up a new buyer? So jump over to chat, Barry, and I'll start with you while they're throwing some in. If your agents did nothing but just sit in front of their computer to secure a new buyer or seller appointment, work the lists, how many hours for them to pick up a new opportunity?
Well, on average, about an hour.
An hour. All right. So Chris says $10 or 10 hours. I'm going to go on average. I think if somebody jumped in here, did nothing more than 5. I think that's on the high side, Barry. You have a huge database. I think mine too, maybe 1 or 2. I'm gonna round up. 2, 3 people are chiming in. There we go, guys. All right, so I'm gonna use more of an average. I'm gonna go 4. All right, congratulations. We got a new opportunity. Once we have these people, how much time are we spending? And again, nothing other than just opening doors to get them to the point to where they want to write a contract. All right, we might go out 2, 3, 4 times. How many hours just opening doors to where we get to the point where we're writing a contract? All right, we got 6 to 8 in there. 6. So I'm just going to put in 7 hours. I'm going to round this. I'm going to go to the high side. 8 hours just showing property. Congratulations. How much time now are you filling in blanks and negotiating? So this is taking your contract, just filling in the blanks and emailing back and forth to get to a pending. All right. Somebody said 4. Somebody said an hour. Somebody said 2. Again, this is just back and forth, 2, 2, 2. I'm going to round this up to 3. Somebody said more than 8 hours. Fine. I'm just going to give it to you 12. I'm literally just talking about driving, but I want to make sure this is realistic. All right. Congratulations. We have a pending from the date it's accepted. How much time are you spending? Now you might have an inspection you go to, shuffling paperwork back and forth. Maybe you go to closing, right? So I think between inspection and closing, there's 2 hours. How much time shuffling paperwork just on that one file? Another hour. So I'm seeing a 3, 7 to 8 shuffling paperwork. Somebody's doing that on the high side. 3, 4, 5. All right. I'm going to throw 5 in there in the middle. All right. Group, what is your average price point? I'm going to do this for the group. What is your average sales price in your market right now? 300K, 250, 800, 400,000, 275, da, 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 da. They're all over the place. Can we say, again, I want to go on the low side. I'm going to say 350. I think this was on the very low side. 400,000 is probably even higher. I threw in here a split at 70, 80. All right, so I want you guys to look at this yellow. I do it as a team split as well, so agents on a team can understand their value. But guys, at a 80, 20, because we're talking solo agents, so I'm guessing most of you are, well, let's just throw it in there. What is the your solo agents? How much of your commission are you guys keeping? What is your split? Is it 80%, 90%, 100%? What's the average of the room? 87, 80, 70, 85. I'm going to leave 80. Guys, right here. All right, based on 350, and I'll change this. Most of you are not at 350. Let's just change this up to 500,000. Here is your dollar per hour activity based on your numbers. If you were just to do dollar productive activities, I would love to take this down to where you're shuffling paperwork with somebody else, taking this down to where you're shuffling it, right? You change this down to these numbers. Look at your time per hour worth. And if anybody wants this spreadsheet exercise to do it with their team or just play with it with your own numbers, whole point I went into that, sorry, I derailed us, Barry, is I need you guys to understand whether it comes to getting into these smart lists and working more efficiently, getting paperwork off your desk, anything that's not a DPA, dollar productive activity, you need to understand that dollar per hour activity, because now we start scaling. All right, I can have a TC, or like what Barry said, maybe it's a full-time admin that does TC work as well as outside that. That's my admin, because I'm doing things as a solo agent that's not worth my time. And then I would take it to the next step. All the stuff that I just offloaded, if I wasn't doing any of that, could I get one more sale a month? Maybe it's not a month. Maybe it's every other month. All right. And if I go back to that same screen and all of a sudden I'm like, okay, yep, if I offloaded all of this, this allows me to get one more sale a month. What is that higher costing you? I guarantee you it's nowhere near this a month, right? So when it comes to really sitting down, kind of know your numbers, where's your time going to earn commission checks, and start figuring out where can you shave off of that to start increasing your productivity. You really have to understand where your time's going and what that time is worth. All right.
Yeah.
And again, Michelle, if you hold me accountable, I'll give you that spreadsheet. You can send it to everybody who signed up for this. It's got all the formulas in it.
Along the same subject, now, okay, we've got the principle, your time is worth more, executing on this. I can already hear some of you say in your head, it's like 5 seconds to send a text. Like, why do I need somebody to do that? Right. And what you're failing to realize is that when your part of your day-to-day is devoted to something that's below your pay grade, you've reoriented your entire business. And what stinks about it is you can work in your business, transaction management, broker compliance, for 8, 9 hours all day. You get to the end of the day and you feel like a sense of accomplishment, right? You got all this stuff done. You've been working really hard. And what stinks about it is you've actually lowered your hourly rate because you added 9 non-dollar producing activity hours to this like chunk of day for you. That's supposed to be $1,000 day or $2,000 day if you're making $200 an hour. And so you don't see the impact of doing the mundane on the bigger picture. All you're looking at is, what is the saying, trees from the forest? You're looking at like, well, yesterday the title company had the loan number wrong and that took me 10 minutes, no big deal. no, it adds up. And again, the emotional satisfaction of having a job well done can be done without making or increasing your profitability. And that's why I'm obsessed with this. Like, that's how I work full time at Wylopo. Like,
Yep.
I couldn't do it otherwise.
Yep.
Same for Gabe.
I love it. It's all coming down to understand. Michelle, I just sent that to you so you have it to share with everyone. So all you guys have to do is just plug the numbers in. Formulas are all in there for you. So with that, Barry, so I'll just throw you on the spot. So outside of TC, we kind of went off on a tangent there because it organically happened. Where are some of the areas single agents that you're saying should be dialing in or educating themselves to maximize their time and ultimate ROI conversion?
I mean, I think first and foremost, we got to have a big poster of Gabe on the wall. I mean, without that, I'm just kidding.
Post haircut. I need a haircut.
I know there were some people writing that literally stopped and looked up like, wait, what? All right. So now that I have your attention, you know, I would say that anything that is getting in the way of you going to the next place in your business. So what's going to happen is when you really dial in the TC, you're going to buy back time for dollar producing hours, and you're going to make more money. And you're going to sell more, which is also going to create other new great problems, because now you've got too much business and you're trying to figure out how to navigate it. My recommendation is we need more. If you're in production and you're an individual agent, we need 2 of you. Having a TC is not going to create or reduplicate yourself. So what's another way to optimize? I would have an ISA that they don't have to be great. They need to be able to find people that want to talk to you. So out of 100 leads, they spend all day calling. They find 6 people that said, sure, have an agent call me, let's just say. Okay, the fact that you don't have to call through the other 94 for someone that's casually interested in speaking with you, massive value add. And they don't have to be better at closing than you. In fact, mine aren't as good as my agents. My ISAs are not as good as my agents, but I bought my ISAs to just do that mundane of finding the short list. You do that now in 30 minutes, those 5 people, you can create a legitimate connection with all of them. Another one, Gabe, is showings. The buyer emails you and says, hey, I'd like to see these 6 homes tomorrow. Well, guess what you become, right? You're the showing concierge. You sit down for 2 hours. None of the agents answer the phone. You know, like all of these things, instead of just saying, hey, assistant, these are the 6 listings, call each one, do it in an order that a map, you know, makes sense, and then send it back to me.
Yeah.
Those
So I'm
are
going to
the
pause you
things
really
that
quick because we jumped and I want to go back and I want to come back to a showing partner because I agree. If we went back to that spreadsheet, the biggest chunk of time was showing property. But Amy asked, where did you find success in hiring an ISA? I want to break this down a little bit because if we'd asked, what is your least favorite thing probably to do as a solo agent? I'm guessing most people in chat, and you guys can throw it in or tell me I'm wrong. Most people's least favorite thing doing is the prospecting and combing through the leads and the opportunities to get to the ones that are ready, willing, and able and wanting to talk to an agent. So where did you find success? Where did you go wrong? I think maybe we share some wins and failures of what we've done on ISAs to kind of help them out.
Is that a question for me?
Yeah. So where did you find success in hiring an ISA? Or where have you failed?
I would say I tried to find somebody that was better than my agents at converting leads. And those people are out there, but they're really expensive. So the stakes are high. And they are, you know, they're a salesperson that's going to go the path that's best for them. And so I just had a lot of trouble keeping them, to be honest with you. And so I've had the most success with people in the Philippines. I use the website onlinejobs.ph, and you advertise an appointment setter position, you'll have 100 resumes.
Yep.
And what I do is I respond to each one, or my admin does, and says, thanks for your inquiry. Please record the following, you know, I'm a good fit at Better Homes and Gardens for sales because, and then they're going to give their reason why they're good. And I want to hear their English, and I don't want it to be like a, you know, mocked up thing.
Yep.
So that, and but it's the Wild West, but $5 an hour that's like $70,000 in the Philippines. Like that's a really, I'm probably wrong there a little bit, but you get what I'm saying.
Yep, I'm with you. I'm going to post, this is going to be a long post. I apologize, guys. I'm just going to share it because again, we want to give you some takeaways as well. Why did it not work? Please copy. I'm going to paste. We two have had the most success, and it's probably too long to throw in here. Michelle, if they want this, I will get you my job description for hiring in the Philippines. Where I went wrong, though, I'm going to back up. So, and this is small team or solo agent, right? Because a lot of small teams also don't have ISA. So I think this is a takeaway. I didn't really know what I needed out of an ISA right off the bat, other than I needed people calling. So we hired, probably didn't have the best training in place, lost them, had to redo it. So two things: to scale, sometimes as a solo or small team, you don't have time to train it and get them up and going. I think this is where a service like a Conversion Monster or something like that is a great option. You don't have control over the scripting and all that, but it's plug and play. You can turn it on and just get people in there calling. There are, in fact, as I was talking, just had a live transfer coming through. They can get in there. It updates to your follow-up boss. It's an easier way. You don't have as much customization over it. You're not hearing their phone calls. You're not getting to dictate their scripts necessarily, but it's calling through, marking bad numbers, good numbers, the nurtures, all of that, and you're getting live transfers. So if I had it to do over again, I would have started there, because now I'm getting a taste of what's needed. And now I can hire someone and start training them to do what I need or what I would like to do different. So I actually layer right now Conversion Monster with my own in-house ISA team. All of our ISAs that are in-house or on my team are in the Philippines. I will share with everybody the posting that we use on the website that Heather just posted in there. One of the tips that, and I can't remember if I ripped this off from Barry or somebody else, but in this job posting that I'll share with you guys, we describe the job just like anything else, but we give them a couple instructions. You must send your resume, and then we also want them to send an audio file of one of their sales call or like a role-playing sales call. The reason we do that is it's very important to me on, first of all, just how they sound, from accent to tempo to any of that. I want to be able to just hear how they sound on a phone before I ever go to the next stage. No point in interviewing or scheduling time, blocking it on my calendar, because again, knowing my time worth, if I'm not going to like the sound of it or something like that. So for me, going back, I would hire a service to do it just to get going immediate and get the benefits, and then bring somebody in-house to now start training.
Yeah, and we're samesies in that regard. I do that as well.
You layer it as well, right?
Yeah, layer it.
Yeah.
And what we're saying here is, like, whether you go high dollar ISA like Conversion Monster or in-house American, or you go low dollar, you've got to just assess, okay, what am I paying for? If I had Conversion Monster, I would expect a lot of transfers, and we get those. The in-house ISAs are not going to, or the Philippine ISAs that I have are not as good as my agents, but I can't get my agents to sit at a computer for 8 hours. I just can't.
100%. And I don't think the ISAs are ever going to be, I don't know if that's, onshore, offshore. It's just an agent that understands the market, knows how to talk to it. It's great. An ISA's job on our team is not to call and talk real estate, to negotiate price, terms, any of that. So, and I know somebody posted, in my state, anyone calling has to have a license. I don't want to talk to anybody's state, talk to your broker. But from my experience, you do not need a license to talk about verifying any information that somebody registered on a website, or when they would have time to talk to an agent about their home search needs. So all of our scripting, all of our point is for the ISAs to go through to figure out who's a real person, who's not. If it's a bad number, add the tag, get all that done, and comb through all that, and then find somebody who's a real person that would like to talk to an agent about their buying or selling needs. So that's how we do it with unlicensed. They're not allowed to talk price, terms, contracts, anything that requires a license. They're literally website support and verifying the information that was provided, that they registered with, and then transferring to an agent for a buyer or seller consult. So similar to you guys, Barry, or do they go deeper?
No, I think it's similar. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah.
Perfect. So again, talk to your brokers though. I'm not here to tell you what you can or cannot do in your state. So please talk to your broker to make sure that you're doing that.
And this kind of goes into another point. There's a lot of really great reasons that you haven't hired an ISA or a TC. So for example, Kara's really good concern, like, hey, this is the law here, right? And that's a great reason to not have one. And that's why most people don't, because I just need to be real. We all know that we feel like nobody is ever as good as us. Okay. And they're just not going to they're not going to care as much as you. Okay. They're not going to be as good on the phones as you. And so those are great reasons that you haven't done it, but you have to let go to grow. Now, I'm not saying, because see, the thing is, for those of you that are single agents, what's gotten you to the level of success you're on, right? So wherever you're at right now in your career, to go to the next phase of your career, it's going to take a different set of skills than what it took. So just obsessing about everything and caring about everything and being responsive and answering all the time, that's great. It got you to where you are, but you're not going to be able to function that way if you want to go to another level. And that's why this topic is so important of leverage. And it's not like my team, we did that for our salespeople, and that's really set us apart, because a lot of other teams, they use their agents as like horses, right? Like, they're going to do all the prospecting and all the work. Whereas for us, we've took the dentist model, right? Like my dentist literally just called. My kid's dentist office just called to make sure and confirm for my son's dental appointment. Now, I am not mad that my dentist did not call me, that a receptionist did. And I'm not mad at my dentist that an insurance agent or, the insurance rep called to confirm coverage. It wasn't my dentist. And yet we get all worried like, oh, I don't want anybody else helping, but we don't mind when our dentist does it. Why can't we do it? So.
No, I love that. I love that. And again, for us, it's just to kind of start identifying who are real people. If there are appointments and they're ready to talk to somebody, fantastic. And this is going to go back to Kara's question a little bit. If somebody asks a question that requires a license, it's, hey, Barry, I'm so glad you asked that. I'm actually not a licensed agent in Idaho, so I couldn't sell you a home even if I wanted to. But when would be a great time to meet with one of our consultants to go over that? We have openings this evening or tomorrow morning, right? They will just own the fact that they don't have a license, and that is the benefit of having a consult with one of our people, right? So they can own that 100%. And I love it when they just say, I couldn't actually even sell you a home. I'm just here to make sure this site's treating you well and to verify that when you registered, you mentioned X, Y, and Z. Get them handed off.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Fed just increased rates to 2.5, ready for the shift as people freak, despite the rates still being historically low.
Breaking news. You heard it her first. All right. So I want to jump in here as I'm trying as I see. Does your in-house ISA monitor why priority leads during certain hours of the day and then call them? So everybody's going to have a different model. So yes and yes. So again, it depends. So we have our ISAs working the lists just like our agents, right? They're just a little bit different lens. So here's a great thing. I'm going to jump over to my fellow boss real quick. And I'm going to go at different things. So a couple of different things. So I was going to show one thing that ISAs do, and our ISAs use certain tags like Conversion Monster, is they're identifying by just throwing this tag in here. Not only I'm focusing on not the transfers necessarily because I've got those, but ISAs are in here saying, hey, these are real people, but they need to be nurtured. I can literally go from 80,000 people down to 843, knowing instantly, hey, here are people we've spoken to that are real, that are going to do something, but we're nurturing them along, right? So now my ISAs or even my agents now, instead of fishing in an ocean of 80,000, can jump down to 843, right? Or they can jump in and do all of these. So just start understanding what your agents can jump in, and when they talk to people can start adding certain tags to people or putting them in certain ponds. So now as the primary agent or small team, you guys aren't fishing out of the entire database. you're now in here. Hey, the ISA's job was, are these real people thinking real estate? This is where I'm going to focus, or go down one smaller. Hey, not only have they narrowed it down to who's thinking, but these are the ones that are all less than 60 days or 30. You put together the process for your team and then outline what the ISA's job is, right? Some want the ISAs to hold it all the way to appointment. That works great for some people. It just depends on where you guys are at. We still want our agents involved somewhat in the conversion process, but it's definitely in, we're trying to eliminate even C's for us, which are over 6 months. We really want the agents just focused on the 60 days or less. Our job is, again, knowing that their time is worth $300-400 an hour. I would rather them having the conversations with people we've already identified as real, have a good number, and have triggered priority alerts, raise their hand, or talking to Raya, which are my first 3 lists, right? That's where I want them focusing their time on. And then they don't have to really think. They can go to that list. They know, an agent knows when they go to, let me just jump over here. They know when they go to this list, these 10 people right now are real and have asked a question. They know this is who they're focused on, right? Now they can go to this list. I know these 12 people are engaging with HomeBot, and if they're in the ocean, are up for grabs. We're going from thousands down to a few. And this is just going to allow, right? Who's talking to Raya? Who has triggered priority alerts, right? If you can get to where your ISAs are working these lists, or dial it down even more for you, you guys are going to be a lot more efficient for your time. All right. Now, any of you who are on the fence, I don't know, we're going to have time to break down list after list after list. On every other Thursday, I was going to say Barry and I, but Barry's done a majority of them here recently. But Barry and I have a class where we're going down specifically just in lists to really help you understand how to create these, edit these, break them down, or adjust them so they meet your needs or your ISA needs. So if you guys have not attended that class, make sure you get in that. It's every other Thursday, and I can't remember if it's this week or next week. I'll find out. I'll find out and get the link posted for you.
Transition a little bit on another topic, unless you had something on the current topic you wanted to share.
Next week. No, go for it. Netter, thank you. Next week. Netter, will you also throw the link for in there while you're with us? Go ahead, Barry.
Right now. Yeah. So when I first started teaching on like these Facebook groups back like 7 years ago, everybody would come to me and just say, aren't you worried that someone is going to take your ideas? And I wasn't, because I knew that in real estate, we have so many great ideas as small business owners. We don't have a problem with ideas. It's execution. It's actually getting the job done. So what I would like to do for a moment, for those of you that have the ability to type in the chat, what is something you've heard so far in this discussion that caused you to, have like, okay, I need to do that. Like what's something now after hearing us speak about leverage that you feel that you need to do? So Joel said, hire an ISA as an appointment setter. Doug, same thing. Need to get better at converting leads. Take a look at ISAs. ISA, use an ISA. Don't listen to Gabe anymore. Use an ISA. Just kidding. All right, making sure agents are cherry picking using better smart lists, better lists. All right. Okay. So now
Get a TC. Love it.
Well, you've got your item. So now what I want you to do is I want you to say, okay, what's the first step to execute on this? Now, some of you don't know, which is why I'm asking. Some of you say, well, I said ISA, but I don't really know what to do exactly. And so that's the problem that you just need to solve. You just, okay, I need to execute on this. I know for me, when I try to get my agents to build a business, one of the things that commonly comes up is like, it's hard for my agents to set apart time for like, non-client facing stuff, like setting up business goals or marketing to your past clients. And in the same way that I've taught my agents to say, oh, my TC has that, let me connect you with her, right? In the same way, when you have a client that says they want to see a home tomorrow at 10 o'clock, but you have earmarked in your schedule 2 hours to focus on processing or building or whatever, you're probably going to skip that 2 hours to go show the home. And I get it. So what I do is I ask my agents so that they can actually have a time blocked day that's focused, is I want you to ask the permission of the client to move the time. And you don't have to turn them down. You just say, you know what, I can do that. But I do have a personal appointment during that time. So, which I can cancel, no big deal. But if it's not a problem for you, can we see it at 11 instead? You'll be surprised at how many people don't care. You said you'll do it, and you will, but can we do, and so you fight for that appointment a little bit. And what you'll find is the hour you spend investing in streamlining and systems and focus, those start to pay dividends for years. So I've been doing this for 7 years where I'm optimizing to where now sometimes I'll log into Follow-Up Boss and it's weird. I don't have anything to do. Like it's all been managed. And so I have to find a new problem to solve. Anyway, okay, I'm going to step off my soapbox.
No, you're good. I love that. And I don't know why I'm not able to post into chat. So I
Me
think
neither.
I can't paste it. So Ryan Netter did paste the link up above to that Thursday training. If you scroll up, maybe post that again, Ryan. I would try to. I literally cannot paste for some reason into the chat section. No, I love that. I think we need to take steps in there and figure out what it is, Barry. So it's taking action. And I really do believe, and why I jumped into the exercise at the beginning is sometimes we have to stop for a minute and understand where is our time going. And you really do need to understand what that value is, because there's so much crap we're holding on to that's an easy let go that honestly is stuff that we don't enjoy doing anyway. And if I'm being perfectly honest, we're probably not good at, like paperwork. Most it doesn't make sense to me. So anyway, I love that. There were a couple other takeaways people posted. Obviously, better lists. I love that somebody, I missed it, get better at cherry picking. And it's so funny because it's something I talk about all the time. And I think sometimes cherry picking gets like this negative connotation. Guys, that's what lists are really meant to. It is already pre-cherry picking based on what you want for you. So anybody on here, whether you're a small team or a solo agent, is I would literally ask myself, what is the best of the best that I want to make sure that I am not missing in this database? And they're just quick little checkpoints. You know, for me, that's kind of how we built the list. And I'll share one more time. I'm going to switch over to like an agent's view so it looks more normal. So instead of working out of this all people, it's a quick check, right? Who do I have right now? And I'm looking at it from a single agent. Do I have now? Stage for us is somebody that has to be in front of me. But they're asking a question. You need small bite size. I'm going to take care of somebody who's raising their hand and asking a question before I go chase a new lead. That's just us. Even if I didn't have an ISA, I would rather call this person versus somebody who registered 5 seconds ago because something's going on, right? So if I were everybody, what I would have if I was a solo agent right now or small team is I would have hand raiser, an urgent, who is asking a question, and make sure this list is always 0, meaning you've called them, answered their question, and updated the stage or tag, however you're going to do it. I would be monitoring who is talking to Raya, making sure you're not missing anybody. And the third list I would have as a solo agent or small team is I would have a active list. For us, it is anybody with a good number, has triggered a priority alert. It's been at least a day since I called them, and they've been on my site in the last 2 weeks. Those are 3 lists that if you do not have, and let's be honest, if you have them and you're not using them, I would drag them to the front. And let me just show you as I'm saying it, just in case that's not making sense to somebody. I would click on this Manage List button. I've numbered mine, but I would find the lists if you have them by just grabbing these dots, right? I would drag them and I would organize so you kind of have a step-by-step process of how you're going to work. And I would literally leverage the intelligence of Follow-Up Boss, taking all of the leads, taking all of the opportunity, taking all of the activity that Wylopo is creating, and have Follow-Up Boss dish it up to you so you can literally cherry pick the best of the best before going and hunting. Now I'll get off my soapbox.
That was good. That was good. People are getting some good direction here.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
I was just sorry. I was going through. I saw some Q&As. I in Philippines thing. Gene, thanks, Ryan. What is it meant by? Is this what I meant by a smart list? So basically, I'm not sure of that question. The smart list is set it up to where it's dynamically updating. So if it's so like for hand raisers for us, it is show me who has triggered a hand raiser priority, gets the hand raiser tag, and I have not called in 4 hours, right? So for us, as soon as it hits that list, that means I have to call. As soon as I call, it disappears for 4 hours. The reason I have 4 hours, if somebody asks a question on a property, I want to hit them twice a day for 2 or 3 days. Now, if we do that and they don't answer, we remove the hand raiser tag because I don't win a prize for just accumulating the most leads that have that tag. I want to convert them. So for us, we'll call 7 times, which takes about 3 days. If they don't answer, we take the tag off. Doesn't mean it's a bad lead. It just means you're not worth my time to monitor every day, twice a day as a hand raiser. If they do it again, they'll come back in, right? If they pick up on any of those calls, as soon as I speak to Barry because he became a hand raiser, doesn't matter what Barry says. We can schedule an appointment or he can tell me he's a year out. I'm removing the hand raiser tag because I've answered your question as a hand raiser. And now you're going to organically follow into my other lists when it's time to follow up, right? So smart list meaning you have some preset filter in there that is going to have it dynamically update. So what we really want to prevent, and again, time is money, is I want to prevent when you're jumping into a list, if it's in this list, you know I have to call. I don't want you to have to click on it and then scroll, right? Because as soon as you guys start working lists that have more than just a few people in it, which most people I talk to work from out here, and they're like, well, but I'm going to organize it by the most recent visit. Most of you are still going to come in here, click and scroll. As soon as you do that, you're looking for a reason not to call that person versus to call. That smart list should dynamically update so it meets your criteria. Hey, they did X, Y, and Z, and I have not communicated with them in X time. It's worth me reaching out. That list is smart enough to tell you it's worth your attention. It's worth your attention, and zero out those lists whenever possible. It is literally having a 24/7 assistant that knows how to dish up exactly what you're looking for so you can just reach out. So somebody said, I don't really seem to ever get any hand raisers, but I did originally with Wylopo. So here's a couple things that I would recommend you guys do. All right. When people are coming in, first of all, are you looking in the right place? I'd ask. And then secondly, are you keeping people on remarketing, right? Do you have enough remarketing people to keep bringing those people back, right? Hand raisers happen when somebody's on the website and they fill out a form. That could be a showing request, virtual showing request, the seller form, the contact us, any of those. So I would make sure, are they getting added to remarketing? Do you have enough remarketing budget to stay in front of them, bringing them back? If you have an address, are they in HomeBot? HomeBot will trigger the HomeBot engage tag as well as hand raisers because it's also sending them listings. Are they on dynamic alerts, right? There is a tag that you guys should be monitoring. And again, here's another great reason for having an ISA or an admin, because these are things they could do at a much faster rate. I'm going to go back into it, but you want to search for a tag that's called listing alert sunset. All right. You're going to see we're resetting this all the time, right? I've got 14,000 of my 83,000. My ISA or admin goes in here and does about 20 or 30 of these a day that we're going to go in. This one should be because they're pending, but we'll go in on some of these old ones, pull them back up. We're going to, this one's already been redone. We just didn't remove the tag. So now that I found that little error, sorry, that should have been removed, but it got sunsetted. You could see that the ISA actually went back in and we created another one. So there's just things, I think it was Thomas, that you can do to keep activity going to fill those smart lists. Are they in remarketing? Do you have remarketing budget? Are they on listing alerts? Are you sending them anything of value to get them back re-engaged? And I'm going to show you guys a couple other things you guys can be doing. And these are also all great things to have an admin do. Our admin that handles a lot of this in the Philippines, and I think it's at like $5 or $6 an hour. which is a great salary for him. He does a great job. It's a win for me because it's just kind of manual steps to get these going. So if you guys used to have a lot of activity and you're seeing less, I would just pause a second, right? Why is that happening? Get with your account manager. If you have not done quarterly reviews with your account managers, they're going to jump in and help you dissect maybe where you have holes in your database that's not creating as much activity and opportunity to go back and feed these lists. A lot of that needs to be automated for you because you're wearing so many hats. All right. I'm scrolling through looking for questions.
No, this is good. This is good.
Go ahead.
What are you guys thinking on this? Let's pull some. What are your questions? Let's take this beyond just a presentation. And now
it's really a shift. While they're coming in, Barry, it's really a shift, right? To stop sometimes from going, setting the appointment, showing the properties, to have some time to stop and think, okay, what do I need to do to scale this? So I'm not always the one running and gunning and showing properties and going on the appointments, right? So you guys really need to stop and think about what you can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's also something that's great about the business is you do have the ability to create whatever you want. And so I would recommend you do what's best for you or your family or your goals or your dreams or passions. I always like to say my business serves me so that I can go do my passion projects.
Yep. Yeah, Douglas had a question. I'll answer that. When you hire an ISA, do you create them a user seat in FUB or do they use your login credentials as a team lead? I'll answer for myself. I create their own login with the dialer in FUB because I need to track their activity, inspect what you expect, right? You need to see how many dials, listen to their phone calls. You need to be able to mention them. They need to be able to mention you and other users. Use the tools that are here. So no brainer, get the extra seat for that ISA. Admin, everybody.
I feel the same way. If you don't, what is it? You can't expect what you don't inspect. Is that the phrase?
Yep. Or inspect what you expect. Yep. Somebody said they raised their hand and I missed it. Thank you, Michelle. Jennifer Hawkins raised her hand. I didn't see it. I apologize, Jennifer.
How many ISA members do you have versus the amount of leads?
Good question.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's based off of just what you need. So what I mean by that is if you have one ISA and they're getting you 5 appointments a week, 20 appointments a month, do you need more than that? If you do need more than that, then you need to have another person calling at a different hour. I don't think there's like an exact ratio because you can augment the ISA's efficiency with technology. So like I use Mojo Dialer when it's time for my ISAs to not, they use the click to call and follow up boss, like just to, go through and do that on the one-off calls. But when it's time to call 2,000 people in a day, they use Mojo for that, which has a two-way sync with follow up boss. And so one ISA with the right technology can get through thousands of leads if you want. So I know I didn't answer your question, but I think it's beyond just a calculation. I think you really have to examine what your needs are. I also will say if you have a long list of people speaking to Raya and you're not engaging them, right? So there's like people that respond to Raya, but you never do anything with it. You buying an ISA is just going to make that problem worse. Because now you're going to have ISA getting responses. You're going to have Raya getting responses. You already couldn't get to Raya's responses. So what makes you think you're good to the ISAs? It's just going to create more people waiting for you. So for you, I would say you need more time to sell. Let's focus on an admin that provides you the opportunity to do that. Maybe a TC, something like that.
Yeah. So, let me bring it up. TC guys to me is a really different category. It's a different line item as far as expense or anything. I mean, in most states, teams, you only pay for it at closing when it happens. And they do so many services to free up time. Like to me, that's a different line item and thought process on it, whether you're going to hire it or not. Honestly, a no-brainer in most cases. So I would just, if you're wanting to grow and scale, that is an easy hire. Most places, brokerages, everything already have them. You don't have to train them. Should be able a switch you can flip right off the bat to make happen. then ISA is going to be more in-house to kind of start customizing. But Barry's right. I think it's going to grow and scale based on your database and what you're having them do. I know some people that literally just have TCs that are doing the initial phone calls and sending text messages just to kind of weed out good numbers, bad numbers. So it's just, you got to figure out what's best for you. I think that's why when I mentioned earlier, for me going back in time, I would have an ISA company probably do it first to get a taste of it and see what I like that they did. Are they sending texts and emails and calling to get a taste of what you like? And then if you want to bring it in-house and tailor it, go from there. That's just me. I would have learned better going that direction. So I would go from that. Let's see. How many leads should we have in our CRM before hiring an ISA? Again, that's going to be up to you. I would start answering the question is, what am I not doing? Am I not getting to them quickly? Am I not? And again, shift this from just being new leads calling immediately to the response, right? A lot of times when any of the account managers on here or Barry and I jump on calls with you guys, it's not even just the new leads that we need to be reaching out to, but it's that speed to response of when they trigger a priority alert, when they're talking to Raya, when they request a showing, any of that. So I would just kind of look at that and seeing what you're missing. If it is a smaller database and you're missing those, I think that's the other benefit of having a service, because it's based on how many leads they're following up with, not necessarily hours. So that allows you to kind of grow and scale into it. So again, different, everybody's got to really tailor this to their business. Somebody asked about knowing what the tags do. I can't see it, but I want to answer that. Something that I would just highly recommend everybody saves to their browser. Of course, my Zoom tools are in the way. I just have a little folder with links that I use all the time. And one of them is a link to the Wylopo Help Center. All right. So if you guys just have this saved, you can type in just about anything you want to know about. So for example, tags. What are Wylopo tags? Just that quick, you can scroll down and it's loading. It literally starts going through telling you what all the different tags are and what they do. All right. So again, I've just saved for adding a lead manually. I've got 2 markets, so I've got them separated, but the Help Center and then Barry's Masterclass just for training new agents so I can grab it quickly to give it to people. So, but this Help Center is a great resource for you to really ask anything that you need to know about the process, the tags, what they do, and all of that. So it's a great, easy resource for you guys to have at your fingertips. Let's see. So Douglas, I just checked for that filter tag for sunsetted leads, and there's over 2,000. Is there a way to turn these bulk on? Wylopo support. So I don't think there really is a bulk way to do this. It's really not that bad, but again, it's all about growing and scaling. That is a fantastic VA, and you can get some people part-time and you train them certain things you want them to do. That is a great job for them to come in and do. In the meantime, I don't know, Douglas, if you have kids or nieces or nephews who are looking, babysitting, this is a pretty easy thing to teach to turn back on. You'd be shocked how quickly you can go through those and turn, I don't want to say turn them back on, recreate a new one, but it's priceless. All right. I would get in there and turn those back on. Don't overthink it. All right. Keep it a wide variety so that they can reach out saying, hey, thanks, Thomas, or Douglas. Got the listings, but I'm not looking, in Boise, I'm only looking in Meridian. Gives you a reason to now tailor that down and respond to them. Gabe, what's that resource that you just mentioned? That is the Wylopo Help Center. Let me show you again. Grab this link. I'll throw it in chat. Well, I won't throw it in chat because I can't paste in chat. But again, I just save it right into a folder for Wylopo links, and I'm going to add the one, and I haven't done it yet, the Media Center, because Michelle and the team has done an incredible job doing a lot of our webinars and videos in the Media Center. But it's here's the link right here. We'll throw it in chat for you guys just to copy and paste. But again, you can type in so even if sunset, if you're like, well, what are the sunset rules? What does that mean? Listing alert sunset. It'll literally go through and explain why they get sunsetted and what the timeframes. Anything and everything you guys need to know, this resource is there for you.
If you're on a phone and you don't have access to the links that Gabe is sharing, just go to Google and type Ylopo, Zendesk, and then the topic. Those are Wylopo and Zendesk. That's two really unique words, right? And so you type Wylopo, Zendesk, what was it you were just teaching on?
Your masterclass link is in
Oh.
there, the media, sorry, the sunset.
Sunsetted leads. And you just type that. So that happens to me a lot. I'm not at my computer and somebody asks me something and I do that. I also want to say, you guys, if you have not been in the habit of running listing rockets as a part of your workflow, you need to take a look at changing that for two reasons. One, you can designate it to get leads for you, and it will get you leads. But then more importantly, it gives you reporting that you can send to the seller that just makes you look like a rock star. Here's this is one we just ran. I think it was $65. 3,800 people saw the advertisement. 1,800 people watched the video. 225 expressed interest by clicking on the photos. 4 actually registered. Here's the video that the dynamic content was brought in. And then this is what's recently sold. And the reason why I want that in there is if this was developed before the market went crazy, and if the home is still on the market longer than its peers, we need to take a look at what's sold. So I'm hoping to subtly bring up a price reduction. And then you've got all this data. This is every person we sent the listing to via listing alerts. So all the leads. And then if any of the people clicked on the listing on my website, that number would show here as well. So just some really cool data to help you. So make sure you guys are running those listing rockets. Gabriel, you are muted and it sounds amazing, but I feel like
best I've sounded all day. Yes, those don't just help you win the listing, guys, but show what you're going to do and then back it up with that report and get price reductions. It was a big topic on office hours today. And even on our team, we've got multiple price reductions on listings over the last couple of weeks. And it's because we're creating those listing rockets. And then that report is available to show them the thousands of people we're getting it in front of, the people we're getting on the website, the people that are asking questions. And then it comes down to, that's our job, right? Marketing it, getting it seen online and then in person. And then if there's no offers, that's outside our control. Now it's price or condition, right? Now it takes the conversation away from, are we doing our job and marketing it and getting it seen, to, is the market willing to pay that price for that specific home, for that condition in that area? So it shifts the whole message for us to get those price reductions and stuff. So I'm glad you brought that up, because I think there are a couple other tools that I wanted to make sure. It's all about leveraging as a solo agent or small team, the tools that we have. And if I'm missing a question, somebody can stop me.
Yeah, open house tools is another really big one.
Open house tool is great. I want to show, because we talked about the market shifting a little bit. Barry's probably getting tired of me doing this, but we're using it a lot. On your branded sites, you guys have communities. If you don't have very many, work with your account manager to get more added. We've taken our primary markets, but this is, you could go to your community, pick the city, grab this link. Somebody was talking about not having enough hand raisers, we don't have activity. Send something of value. Grab this market trends, which is generated in that community report. We are now bringing these into our listing appointments to make sure we're establishing the price correct. We're also using this on our follow-up with what Barry showed you on not only what we're getting online for the seller report, but what is the market doing? So if you guys come in, there's 4 different toggles here that you can hit. So what's going on in the median price per square foot? We can watch the trend, what's happening, what's going on with the listing count, right? We're at an all-time low in March and April, and now look what's happening. Median list price, what's happening? This is all data that's pulled. This is what the market is saying. This is a trend in Boise or whatever community. You guys all have access to these community pages. It doesn't cost anything extra. If you have a branded site, just break these down and you've got it literally for each market so you can show what's going on. These are great little tools to send out that are at your fingertips to just grab and send off to your sellers, to your buyers, whatever it is, to make sure and leverage what's going on. Oh, there we go. Somebody's like, I can see Tom in the mirror. Sorry, Tom's on the webinar. He's making lunch. I don't have a market trends on my community page. How do we get it added? So Leslie, I learned this, and if somebody's smarter than me, on that community page, on your branded site, I just, there's some tabs on the edit page that I just didn't have the zip code entered in on that community page. So your account manager can help you with that. But I just didn't have it set up. It had the city and the blogs. I wanted it to look pretty. I just didn't actually complete it by saving the zip code, and that pulls all the data from MLS as well as other listings and stuff like that. Great tool. Let's see, we're on the hour. Did I miss any questions that we need to? Do you guys find this helpful? Is there anything, I mean, again, this was kind of, we wanted to keep it very organic, give you guys some ideas, directions you should be going to help get better ROI. We'd love to have feedback, what we could do differently. Besides, have more of my lists and less of Barry's. Actually, we didn't show any of Barry's today.
Yeah, it's okay. With us teaching about making the lists for your business, like as long as that's what they're doing, and then they put numbers next to the list, so they've created a workflow, I'm actually really happy, because I think that's the secret. Because the list that everybody gets on my masterclass, as you know, I'm not even using anymore, right? Like, because my business model changed and I went from leads going to agents to leads going to ISAs. So I had to create a whole nother set of lists for that business model. So
let's see, Amy. So I'm wearing my, it's too hard. I can't lift my leg, so I took it off. These are Be Proud to Be You shoes. They're more like slippers, so I love wearing these around the house.
nice.
So thanks for asking. All right, guys, we'll have this uploaded into ylopo.com/media probably in the next day or two for the replay. I got Michelle that spreadsheet for figuring out your value per hour. So that'll go to you guys. And then I will make sure and get her my job posting for the Philippines VA as well. And you guys can just edit it and tweak it as you like. So.
Sounds good.
Awesome, guys.
All right.
Have a great rest of your day.